Welcome to Java. Thank you for joining me. It is March 19th, 2025, and it is also Wednesday, which is Fed Day, so we get to hear how uncertain they are about things going forward. Jerome Powell speaks at 2:30, and it is also our Discord day, so we're going to be having some discussions this evening. If you would like to join us, it is free. Just ask for a link if you need one. I'll be happy to get you one. We've got an awful lot going on this morning. This is a bit delayed because of some of the things coming forward. So, with this, let's get right into what is going on in the markets. Now, our fear greed meter is in extreme territory. It's dropped back a bit even since yesterday. It's at 20 right now for a level. We're looking at stocks. We're in the red. At the NASDAQ taking the largest brunt of this hit. At the current moment, we've got the volatility increasing. We have gold, which is very interesting on its own. First, it's above 3,000. It has set its level above there as a support level now, and it's bouncing between 3,000 and 350 for the levels at this point in time. So, gold telling us a story in itself of inflation moving forward that will continue and supporting also some larger moves to come. Now, one other interesting story is that Comex has halted deliveries. So, with this, there's a lot of turmoil going on in the physical markets. There is a short squeeze, even though it is against a bit of pressure right now at that 3,050 level, could very easily break through it as the paper price and mechanism of suppression is being undermined at the moment. It is decreasing in its ability to suppress this price. So, with this, we're looking at futures are showing a bit of green yesterday. Last few days, market's been under pressure. This is showing a bit of a relief valve, at least for the morning opening. Kind of a bit of hesitancy because we've got the interest rate decision will come out at 2 o'clock. Not really expecting movement, not really expecting them to do anything with the rates. However, what's going to move markets will be when Jerome Powell speaks at 2:30. Now, what he says moving forward will be the guidance as to whether they're going to move their policy with rates, further rate cuts, or what they will be doing moving forward. Now, we've got silver under a bit of pressure as it is also at a resistance level. Now, crude oil dropping a bit. First off, after the peace talks with Putin, a couple of other things going on in the Middle East. However, crude oil has been hitting also resistance levels and has a bit lower to go. Also watching liquid natural gas at this point in time could have a drop, the Widowmaker itself. So we've got the 10-year yield hovering still at this really in the 4.3 level. It's 4.291 at the moment, but it's not moved. So we'll watch this on the Fed decision today and see if that has an effect. With this one, to bring forth the relative strength of the dollar is still very weak in comparison to the other currencies. 103.66. US dollar is gaining slight bit of strength this morning, and the European markets as well as the Asian markets are drawing back from the run that they had yesterday. We've also got cryptocurrencies are increasing. Bitcoin above 83,500. So they're gaining again as well. They may not do that pullback depending again on what happens today. Now, I've got a little ad here this morning. This is the Japanese 10-year, and this is because Bank of Japan did nothing with their rates. They are holding. However, there is quite a bit of money going into the Japanese markets as well as pumping that yen trade again. So keep an eye on that. Could have significant draw on the United States markets should that reverse. So our daily driver right now is still caution. We've got the Fed on reserve coming up. 2 o'clock is the decision. 2:30 is the mover as Powell takes that podium. We've also got what's coming out in the real economy. high-end consumer has been carrying the United States market and therefore globally, because the power of the United States consumer is really what is driving trade and the markets. On the underlying, they are now under pressure. And this is just one more sign that we've got stagflation happening now. We are in a recession, which is the latter ends of a stagflation. It's just that they always admit these after the fact. So let's take a look at a couple of other things. On the calendar, we are getting these. Tomorrow morning, prior to the market open, will be jobless claims and manufacturing surveys. So while those are not expected to do as much as today, we will still be watching those reports coming out. A couple of other stories happening globally. First off, then this is a magnificent move in the Turkish lira, and this is on geopolitical risk again. The Turkish President Erdogan, his main rival, has been arrested, was the mayor, and on this, the lira is crashing in relative strength to the dollar. They're about to have another major event. They've been fighting their inflation, so this is bringing up another major issue that they're going to have to correct now. So, as Bloomberg is reporting with some of the auto industries over in Germany, which is main driver for the manufacturing as they're moving to weaponry. Volkswagen is following BMW with $3.5 billion United States bond sale. Now, the interesting part in this is that while they're doing this, we're still not watching that 10-year move. There's a lot going on in the background to that. Now, in addition with this, as the auto industry is hurting, Audi is cutting 7,500 jobs as this industry is having issues. Now, this is not that large of an issue as far as unemployment or slash employment, because this is planned to be happening over the next 4 years, part of a broader plan. The larger story behind this is that they're doing what many companies are now doing in their forward guidance, which is cutting costs, which will hit labor. Now, we've been speaking about this, and that is what will trigger this downturn in employment globally, not just the United States, not just the UK, not just Germany or the EU. Now, we've got the FTC in this as well, because more firings across Federal Trade Commission. This is going to affect a few things. First off, it does add to the unemployment in the public sector. But secondly, this is more on the regulation front that it's hitting. We'll talk about the banks in a moment. Now, in a side note, we had Trump releasing the JFK assassination files. Now, this is only revealing a bit more of what we already know, but it's also a portion of distraction to play into a lot more of the other things that are going on as far as the political side of all of these things. So don't get too distracted with some of these things. They're a little bit more almost entertainment at this point in time. We've got NVIDIA, as a side note, betting on high demand for more computing power with their new artificial intelligence chip that Jensen Huang came out yesterday revealing. However, stock still dropped on this. There's a lot of weakness going forward, not just manufacturing, but also with the forward guidance. And investors, stockholders are beginning to shift in their stance on United stock market in general. It's shifting out of it slowly and out of the US dollar, and that is what we're seeing. Now for the banks, as promised. We've got a Trump advisor saying banks will play a tremendous role in cryptocurrency. Well, this is no shock, no surprise. However, the method in which they're doing this could cause some unexpected ripples. Now, we've got the United States stablecoin bill likely in the next 2 months, as they're saying the head of what they've got now is Crypto Council. They will be moving towards cryptocurrencies, but not Bitcoin. They will be using stable coins and a few others supporting. These are all separate reports, but stablecoin users growing 53% in 1 year. This is 2024. Uh, the banks across the board talking about eliminating archaic payment system using, again, stablecoins. Stablecoins break down key barriers in cross-border payments, empowering small businesses and enabling financial inclusion. Well, I question that because they've got to get a few more of the banks on board. And what they mean is exclusion, because if you're not included in this inclusion, as silly as this sounds, you're going to be shut down or merged. Now, I love this whole headline is supposed to be a positive, saying that they are democratizing access to fiat currencies via these stable coins. Well, the reason they're doing this is so that they can have more control. Now, we've got North Dakota Senate passing crypto ATM bill limiting daily transactions to $2,000 in US dollars. Now, what could be wrong with this? Well, this is capital controls. It's under the guise of stopping fraud, stopping hacking, but that should be up to the individual institution, bank, or holder as they're doing this on the privatized business. So when you get the government in the process of regulating the amount of transactions, that is capital controls. And they can only do this via these fiat currencies, whether it's a stable coin or whether it is a printed fiat currency. They can only do it if they have these in place. So a little bit more on banks. We've got Morgan Stanley, the latest bank to trimming its workforce. It is to cut costs, as I was saying before. We're going to hear more about this. And if you're new here, the whole trend is cutting costs, leaning out businesses so they can survive what is coming. What does that mean? Less labor means cutting jobs and cutting back on a lot of costs as otherwise through services and also trade. So not just Morgan Stanley, but we've also got Citibank announcing more cost cutting, more job cuts going forward. They're also cutting for the first time in years a lot of the bonuses that they were rolling out. This is major flag warning, and it's not making major news. Now, with all of this, what is going on, we're seeing a shift into cryptocurrency companies seeking bank charters under the new administration. What does this mean? You've got Coinbase, Robinhood, Kraken, they're all applying for bank charters so that they can get onto the FedNow system, which is what the current fiat system is now. It is the setup for the CBDCs, which they're using stablecoins. Now, I know a lot of you here already know and understand this because we've been talking about this coming. It's now in process, in full swing, will be fully implemented very soon, and they will have the full control of this. Now, shifting a little bit globally, South Korea to trial CBDC with 100,000 users and 7 banks. This is another cover story. They have already trialed CBDC. They were the first ones to put in place the geofencing, meaning you could only spend the cryptocurrency within a particular area, as well as to certain merchants. Now, when they trialed this out, what this did was they showed an extent of the control that you can put in with this fiat currency. And there, it's much more behind this, and this is what it is going towards. As a side note, if you'll notice, I've got this down here. I cannot put links in the description. It get flagged for spamming through YT, and have few more issues with this. So if I can print this as a photo, and if you're interested in the articles behind it, because I don't like not quoting the sources, I'm going to try to do this more frequently if possible. Now I want to leave you off with a little bit more geopolitical. What is first off driving some of the things going on with oil as well as trade? but also serving as cover stories and a bit of distraction. And when all else fails, they bring you to war. Now, we've got the Houthi message to Israel. After what has been happening, they came out with a statement saying that red lines have been erased, saying the occupation has crossed all red lines. They warned, vowing no limits in Yemen's response. Now, with this, they did send a missile. It was intercepted. However, this is just kind of a predecessor to what they are possibly thinking of using. And I have to cut at what I say here because I did receive a warning as well about putting too much of this together as far as capitalizing off of what is going on over there, as well as the Russian talks. Did have Putin speak with Trump. They did come to a bare bones agreement, and they're going to be continuing speaking with this as they don't have a full truce, if you will, ceasefire, and also with Ukraine still firing there. So we've got some more issues with that. With this, wish you all a green trading day. It is Discord evening. Hope to speak with you, chat with some of you this evening. Until I see you again, my friends, stay free.